intestine and the large intestine by me. First, I'm going to be talking about what is a small intestine. The three main parts about the small intestine are the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum. Here is a video. Can I?
Here, the jejunum. This will happen. So the first part of the small intestine is called the duodenum, the duodenum. This receives the chyme that just got processed in the stomach, and it's the part of the entire GI tract where the most digestion occurs. The most breakdown of food products will happen in the duodenum. Alright, so the next part of the small intestine is called the jejunum. I'll just write that right here, the jejunum. And this is the part of the entire GI tract where the most absorption occurs, anywhere. So the most absorption of nutrients is going to happen in your jejunum, the jejunum. Then finally, after your food passes through the jejunum, it gets to the last part of the small intestine, and that's called the ileum. The ileum, I-L-E-U-M. And the ileum. Now this doesn't have a superlative like the most digestion or the most absorption, but there are some pretty important things that are absorbed here. Things like vitamin B12, vitamin A, D, E, K. So there are some important things that are absorbed here. So I'm just going to write important absorption. There are some important things that are absorbed in your ileum. Now, the busiest part of your small intestine is the duodenum, because there are a bunch of things that are involved.
Okay. Okay, now I'm going to be talking about how my study connects to the central idea. In one way it connects to the central idea is because I'm talking about the human body. And the second way is, say that I didn't have a small intestine. There would be no way for the stomach to get the food to the small intestine. And so I wouldn't be able to live. Disorders. Obstruction side effects. Obstruction is when, say that Julia didn't have, she had something stuck in her small intestine, and then if there was something stuck in your small intestine, there would be these side effects. Pain or cramping. So I would have a cramp in my small intestine. Vomiting. Bloating is when where it's stuck, it keeps getting bigger and bigger.
It swells up.
Yeah. And loud bowel sounds is, if the doctor wanted to check my heart, all the doctor would hear is and then that's because it's stuck. Swelling of abdomen, my abdomen would be swelling up. Pass gas, you pass up a lot. Constipation is when you go to the bathroom, it's hard to come out.
It's hard to poo.
Imagine this would be so painful. It would be really uncomfortable.
My sisters have that.
Me. Intestinal cancer. Well, small intestine cancer. So, small intestine cancer, the main way it can start is if I had a high-fat diet. That means if I ate a lot of meat for my diet. And these are the side effects: abdominal pain, weight loss for no reason, lump in my abdomen. Lump in my abdomen is just say there was someone sick in the hospital and they had a lump in their abdomen. If they took their shirt off, they would have a huge lump in their stomach.
Blood in the stool, blood when you poo is very serious. So blood coming out of your large intestine, that's what blood in the stool means. If you were to poo and there's blood in your poo, that's very serious, especially if it's bright red. Well, we can ask my wife, she'll tell you more about that. If you had a tumor, you'd be able to feel it. The doctor would feel your abdomen is down here, and would feel a lump. Probably one of the first things they do.
Okay. What are the causes of cancer? These 3 diseases I will be talking about in my next 6 slides. Celiac disease is that disease happens when I can't eat any dairy products or gluten products. So the thing that I couldn't eat is ice cream, bread, or any of those. So if I ate one of those by accident, I would have intestinal cancer. Next slide. Crohn's disease is when my digestive system inflammates. So that means like it gets stuck. I mean, it's plugged in. It gets bigger and bigger, and it's plugged in.
Wait, so your digestive
Part 2, large intestine. Table of contents. What does the large intestine? What does the large intestine do? How it connects to the central idea? What are the parts and disorders in the conclusion? What does the large intestine do? Well, the main 3 things that the large intestine does is absorbs vitamins, it absorbs water, and it holds in feces. Feces is your poop.
Feces.
Yeah. What are the parts of the intestines? The appendix, the sacrum, the ascending colon, the transverse colon, the descending colon, the sigmoid colon, and the rectum, and the anus. How it connects to the central idea? It connects to the central idea as I said before. If I didn't have a small intestine, this time I don't have both. So I don't have a large intestine and a small intestine. So there would be no way that I would be living right now because the food wouldn't be able to digest. The disorder. The colonic polyps disease. That disease is, well, in my description, in the large intestine, there's these bubbles that the doctors that have to take out because it can kill you, and it can happen if someone is 50 years old, or if there's a history of your family that had it, or if there's just someone that had it.
What exactly does it do? Yes. What is it? It's the disease or the...
Just carry on with your presentation.
My conclusion. In conclusion, I have learned a lot about the small and large intestine. Before, I did not know very much about the small and large intestine. I learned that animals have it, and that's my conclusion. Next slide.
The end is me.
Questions?
Now it's finished.
And wait, go to the next slide. Okay, before we do quiz. Where did I say the aliens? This one. For $100.
It's at the end of the small intestine going into the large intestine.
Wrong.
What?
It's at the bottom.
Oh my god!
Okay. No, I'm joking. What is the large intestine 3 main parts? Marco.
The duodenum.
No, that's
The large intestine.
they had more than 3.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember their colons though.
It's the ascending colon, the transfer colon, and this is the descending colon.
No.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I have one of those.
in the sigmoid colon.
And the sigmoid colon and the rectum.
Yeah.
And the rectum?
No, you have to explain all of them.
The rectum, the anus, the appendix, and this.
Benny.
What was my description of the polyps disease? Description that I said. Marco X.
It's when there's like bubbles
Yeah.
inside of this large intestine.